Okay, before we actually get to polygon modeling, we have to first understand what primitives are, how to create them, and also how to create polygons from scratch without relying on primitives. So what's a primitive? Primitive is basically a geometric object in 3D that you can use to get started on modeling an object. So let me show you by example instead of just talking about it. What I'm going to do is go over here to my model main toolbar. I'll go to the Get Primitive menu. And right here in this menu you can see I have a whole bunch of different options. What we're interested in is Polygon Meshes. Okay, that's a 3D object that'll get us kick-started in the right direction. Now we've got a whole bunch of different options here. We've got cones and cubes. We can create cylinders, discs, grids, spheres, toruses, and a whole bunch of other stuff here that I wouldn't be able to say 10 times really fast. Okay, we've even got a soccer ball. So what object do you start off with? Well, that depends on what you're modeling. If you're modeling something like a tire, you might want to start with a cylinder. If you're modeling something like the top of a table that's kind of squarish or rectangular in shape, you might want to start with a cube, etc., etc. As you start modeling more and more, you'll get a better idea of what type of geometry primitive to start off with whenever you tackle a modeling project. Okay, so let me go ahead real quick and let me create maybe a cube. You're going to see this cube pop up here, which is in wireframe mode by default. And a PPG or a property page opens up with the name of the cube, which by default is just cube. And then we get ourselves some parameters here. For example, we can change the length of the cube, which is uniform. You can see it can get smaller or larger. We also have some basic geometry subdivision parameters here, so we can add more subdivisions to this. Let me actually switch over here to shaded view to make this a little bit easier to see. So I have a few options here that I can use to control this. We're going to talk a little bit later about how to edit and modify these primitives. But the whole point in this video that I want to make is that geometry primitives, or these polygon primitives, give you a good starting point. For example, if I wanted to build a table, I could do something like this. I could start to basically scale this thing down. And then I could take some more of these cubes or whatnot. So for example, I could take that polygon right there. I can go ahead and extract that polygon. I can go ahead and scale it down. Maybe place it by the corner over here, scale it down some more, place it right there at the corner. Then I could extrude it, bring this down, and I could start making legs for my table. Now I know I went a little bit quick right there, and I did that on purpose. I just wanted you to get a quick example of how you can start to use these geometry primitives to flesh out and block out actual 3D models in Softimage. Okay, so I'm going to take that stuff and delete it. Don't need it anymore. So now let's go ahead and let's look at how to create polygons from scratch. Okay, to create a polygon without a primitive, say you want to literally draw a polygon on the grid here or in 3D space, it's actually pretty simple. What you can do is use something called the Create Polygon tool. Now you can find this tool over here under the Modify menu. If you go to Polymesh, okay, you'll notice that there's this button here, or this command that says Add Edit Polygon Tool. You also notice the shortcut here on the right, which is the N key. Okay, so let me click on that Add Edit Polygon Tool, which N is the shortcut on the keyboard, and I can just start to click points and empty space and create myself pretty much any type of polygonal shape. As you can see here in my viewport, I have this polygon right here, which looks kind of funny because I drew it at a funny angle, and it's just got a strange shape to it. But the point is that you can literally draw and create polygons that way. So I'm going to take that and delete it. Okay, so that's going to do it for this video. Pretty simple, right? Primitives let you get started, and the Create Polygon tool allows you to pretty much draw polygons by hand wherever and whenever you want, in pretty much whatever shape you want. Okay, so that's going to do it for this video. In the next one, we're going to look at the anatomy of geometry of polygons and see what makes them tick.